From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Evening Edition.
Now at 5, Venezuelan President Maduro lands in New York after dramatic early capture by the U.S.
We're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly.
Plus, king tides caused serious damage and major traffic today in the North Bay, why it took some drivers more than 3 hours to go just 15 miles.
It was really flowing in. It was pouring through from the creek, and it happened very quickly.
Nothing like this, and not for the consecutive days that we've had. This is just crazy.
It's the worst in 30 years. It's going to get worse again.
CBS in San Francisco, I'm Brian Hackney.
And I'm Andrea Cano. We begin with the latest following U.S. military action in Venezuela. Tonight, the Venezuelan leader is in U.S. custody. Earlier, President Trump spoke on the strike in Caracas.
The United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence.
Tonight, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is in New York facing drug and weapons charges. From now on, President Trump says the U.S. will run Venezuela, taking control of the country's oil reserves. Meanwhile, in Venezuela, Vice President Delcy Rodriguez spoke in a broadcast to the country defying the U.S. military strike. Here's Natalie Brand with the latest.
Nicolas Maduro and his wife arrived on U.S. soil Saturday evening, where they will face federal charges in New York related to drug trafficking and narco-terrorism. President Trump shared this picture after Maduro was captured by an elite military team overnight in what the administration is calling Operation Absolute Resolve.
Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault.
The president detailed the military action from Mar-a-Lago Saturday afternoon, hours after the overnight strike on Venezuela. The operation targeted military facilities and involved more than 150 U.S. aircraft and follows months of military buildup in the Caribbean. President Trump also says the U.S. will run the country until a safer and proper transition can occur, without specifying exactly how that will work.
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground. So we're not afraid of boots on the ground.
Are you concerned that bad elements of the Maduro regime will remain in place?
Well, we know who they are. We're on them. And they're acting much differently now than they would have acted 2 days ago.
The Trump administration is defending its decision not to notify Congress ahead of the strike, but Democratic lawmakers are blasting the move and questioning what comes next.
Yes, Maduro is illegitimate. A lot of leaders are illegitimate in the world, thinking you can simply reach in like we're playing some game of Risk and remove them and then wash your hands of it and everything's fine. Well, we've learned that that's just not the way it plays out most of the time.
Venezuela's vice president insists Maduro remains the leader, calling the U.S. action a violation.
That was Natalie Brand reporting. Here in the U.S., some Americans support the operation. Others are dead set against it, including some protesters in the Bay Area who say it's all about oil.
It's not the CEOs of massive oil companies that are going to send their children off to war to kill and die for this oil.
The only ones who are going to benefit from a new war are the oil companies and the other corporations that want to get in and exploit Venezuela's resources. This is not in the interest of the people of the United States.
San Francisco is one of 75 cities across the country that held protests today, both for and against the strikes.
Meantime, major flooding caused by king tides giving North Bay residents and those along the coast major headaches today. Entire neighborhoods in Benicia impacted, with streets and roadways also underwater in San Rafael. Highway 101 seeing major backups this afternoon with part of the roadway submerged. It is the third straight day of king tides and the flooding is getting worse in the area. Don Lynn is live in Larkspur, where much of the neighborhood near the marina was underwater this morning. Da, how are things looking right now?
Much better now, Andrea. The floodwaters have been receding since around 11:30 this morning. Earlier this morning when I was here, this part was actually submerged in water, and much of Corte Madera Creek was pretty much very high. The water levels have gone down at least 10 to 15 feet now. This is very different from around 11 o'clock this morning. I want to walk you over here to this side. This is the back parking lot of Redwood High School. Hard to tell, but you can kind of see there, it is still submerged in a lot of water. This parking lot still pretty much a lake. They're hoping to clear this out soon. Streets turn into rivers, parking lots turn into lakes, and a small stretch of Highway 101 became part of the bay.
It's never been this bad.
This is what Mark Krawick's house looks like. He says the lowest part of the garage floor is about 3 to 4 inches underwater. The house itself is fine. Most homes in the Larkspur Marina neighborhood are raised a couple of feet above the ground, but not the garages. Water got into many garages in the neighborhood. On Rivera Circle, we found this garage submerged in about 4 to 5 feet of water.
As soon as the driveway is clear, we'll open the garage doors and air things out, and maybe that some drywall will need to be replaced.
This was how Mark's neighborhood looked around 11:30 Saturday morning as the water was receding, with a good portion still under 1 to 2 feet of water. Some neighbors used surfboards and kayaks to get around.
I've been here since 1989, and this will be the third time I'm seeing serious flooding in this area.
How does this compare?
By far, this is the worst.
Neighbors shared footage with us showing their backyard submerged and became part of Corte Madera Creek. At Redwood High School, the back parking lot is flooded. The school itself is fine. Nearby in Corte Madera, we found cars stalled out, shopping center parking lots flooded, and this part of Highway 101 underwater. At times, only one lane in each direction was safe to drive on. Traffic on 101 backed up for hours.
It happened very quickly. High tide was at 11:09, I think, today, and probably at 10:30, it was really flowing in. It was pouring through from the creek, and it happened very quickly.
Some neighbors told me everything was fine when they left for work at 7 o'clock in the morning. They had to leave work early to check on their homes, but couldn't get back inside. One man says he plans to move out, but not Mark. He is staying put.
I don't think the water is going to get into my house in my lifetime, but it's only going to get worse, right? With sea level rise.
There are a lot of police officers doing traffic control. Some streets are still shut down, but as you can see, this is the reason why, because those streets remain flooded. Now, we have not heard of any injuries. I did talk to some people checking on their elderly neighbors to make sure those neighbors are okay. Now, it is still raining here. King tides expected to return tomorrow, so neighbors are concerned about Sunday because the ground is already pretty much saturated. Back to you, Andrea.
Well, thank you so much for your report, and please get dry. Thank you. Well, let's get to Darren Peck now for the latest on the weather. Darren?
Andrea, that part of the bay is a known trouble spot when we have king tides, which is what we've got now, which is why we've got the flood advisory. But the king tides, which happen under a full moon, and we've got a super moon right now, which means the moon's even closer to us. So it's pulling on the tides a little bit stronger than it would, but that's not why this happened by itself. We've also got a pretty good surge coming our way of an ocean swell, which is also helping to push the water into the bay just a little more and give it a little more momentum to work its way inland. Go ahead and get a close-up look at Corte Madera there. You can see where the flood advisory is. And you can see where Corte Madera sits up there in the North Bay, but that's a very generalized view at where the vulnerabilities are. Let's look at this another way. Let's turn our attention up here. Great. And if we take a look at adjusting to high tide, and this is a wonderful resource put together by several agencies here in the Bay. You see the areas in blue up there? This is a way for us to get a quick snapshot for where the risk is when the water level is going to be 2 or 2.5 feet above what it typically is. Take a look at Corte Madera here. That's the section of 101 that goes right through there. You've got the bay, you've got Corte Madera Creek. This is a low spot. It is a known trouble spot. You can see how much development there is here. Most of the time it's just fine. But under a situation like this, where there's a double whammy happening, king tides at the same time that the winter storm track is throwing us a surge, that's 101 under there. Can you see it? And you can even see it kind of comes out of it just as you get up towards the creek. But that whole region has a vulnerability on days like today. There's a few spots like that around the bay. I'll be back with the rest of our forecast coming up in a bit. We'll take a look at the rain coming tonight. For now, guys, back to you.
All right, Darren, thank you. Stay with us for, continuing coverage of these storms, the damage they left behind, and the forecast ahead. We'll keep you updated on the air on the free CBS News app and on KPIX.com. Andrea?
All right, let's get to our other big story of the night in the Bay Area, and that is the 49ers, the number one seed in the NFC, is on the line right now. Kickoff just moments ago, and that's where we're going to find our Kevin Coe. He is in Levi Stadium for the 49ers Seattle Showdown. Kevin, how's it going out there?
Well, it just started, but I do have to tell you, the faithful, they are ready to go, and it is rocking and rolling here inside Levi's. You know, I've been covering every single home tailgate, every single time here at Levi's, and I can tell you throughout the year, the faithful, they weren't exactly expecting to be in this position. No Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner, no problem. So here we are, and here we go. The faithful showing up in full force from all across the Bay Area and beyond. I spoke with some fans who came all the way from Bakersfield, leaving this morning to make sure they made it to the game. Other fans I spoke with, they got here at 3:45 this morning, more than 13 hours before kickoff. And most of these very early fans, they are season ticket holders who've been here all year. That includes Wally, who has been to every single home game, and he was not going to miss this one.
Today is the day that you have to yell from your couch, from your car, from anywhere. We need noise from everyone. Niners all the way, baby. This is the most important game of the year. 1-0 after this week. We'll move to next week when that comes around. Go Niners, baby. Go Niners. Yeah!
You'll also be seeing a lot of black jerseys today. That's because it is Faithful Appreciation Day, as well as the 49ers debuting their black rivalry uniforms for the first time this season. But at this point, oh man, boys right here, all the propane is off, the canopies are down, and the faithful have packed Levi's. We'll be back with another update at 6, but I can tell you, one fan, he put it out perfectly. He said he's excited, anxious, and worried all at the same time, all right now.
All right, Kevin, we got most of that, but I think we got the idea. Thank you, Kevin Coe. When we come back, historic lows for crime in San Francisco, just as one federal court rules that California's ban on open carry is unconstitutional. Details when we come back. And welcome back. In San Francisco on Friday, a federal court ruled that California's ban on openly carrying firearms is unconstitutional, and violates the Second Amendment. The decision applies to California counties with more than 200,000 people, or about 95% of the state. California Attorney General's office is reviewing that opinion. The decision comes as San Francisco reports a dramatic drop-off in crime rates. There was a 20% drop in homicides from 2024. That's the city's lowest homicide rate in more than 70 years. Violent crime dropped by almost a fifth, while car break-ins are down more than 40%. Meantime, a different story in Oakland, at least in 2026, after a triple homicide early this morning marks 5 people dead since the start of the year 3 days ago. Police say the shooting occurred just after 3 in the morning today near 85th Avenue on International Boulevard. 2 victims died at the scene, while a third died en route to the hospital. There's no word on a motive or a suspect yet. Mayor Barbara Lee condemned the violence, saying in part, quote, "Even with historic progress in 2025, gun violence remains a real and urgent concern." Let's change gears and get back to our first alert weather. Darren's got the latest on what's happening next.
Let's pick up that story in terms of the rain that's coming in later tonight. We see what the live radar looks like now. You got a few showers showing up, but there's a better band of rain coming in that will come in overnight tonight, and then another one that really has its sights set primarily on Monday. Let's keep our eye out there off the Pacific. I'm going to take the live radar and we're going to play this forward, and you're going to watch how we put it into the future cast, and you'd think you want to look here for the main rain, but you don't. You want to look down here. That's a big slug of moisture that's going to be coming in by the time we get into early tomorrow morning. I'm going to stop it right there for a minute. Look at your timestamp. Tomorrow morning, about an hour or two before sunrise, and then certainly into the next few hours of the first part of the day after the sun has come up, there's a lot of rain right there to get through. Let's put that into some detail and see if we can get some clarity on how this will play out over the course of the second half of your weekend. So in order to do that, let's see if we can get specific and play this forward through time. We'll leave behind the live radar. We'll go back now to the high-resolution futurecast depiction. This will allow us to slow things down and get real specific on when your part of the bay is going to experience this. That's tomorrow morning. You see a really good line of rain here coming in right across the South Bay. This is what we were just seeing. Now, here's how it plays out from there. Other lines come through. The whole thing just becomes like a widespread blob of green and yellow. And as we go through Sunday morning, late now, this is one of the more impressive times for rain. In terms of widespread rain, some of it comes down in brief moments of intensity, gets a little heavier, and then lightens up. And then you get a break. So we're looking now at Sunday night. We get towards sunset. We're kind of back into an opening like we are right now. And then we're waiting because the Monday storm looks a little better than Sunday. And this gets in here so early on Monday now. We're taking a look at the pre-dawn hours. Again, that's like 4 o'clock. Once again, another wave comes in very early. Comes into the North Bay first this time. And then gets the entire bay going right through the early morning hours. This is probably the most notable time frame of the whole 3-day period for everybody to be getting widespread rain, Monday morning. We want to go farther than that, put it into the long-range forecast. We're going to lose a little bit of resolution on this, but the story remains. That's our Monday system. It is still very much with us right into the later part of the day. So plan on rain throughout Monday. And then it'll give up. By the time we get towards Monday night, we'll get a bit of a break. We put the totals on here. This is taking into account everything from now going all the way through Monday night. There's enough rain on here. We are likely going to have some issues on the roadways. And the time frame for that most notably is going to be Monday. There's a chance tomorrow morning, too, with that good slug of moisture that's coming our way through the pre-dawn hours in the darkness, that we could have some issues with that. So just be very aware of your surroundings as you get on the road for the next 2 days, Sunday and Monday. Monday, it'd be late morning through the heart of the afternoon. For Sunday, the trouble spot for that's going to be in the morning, especially just before sunrise, but really in the few hours after sunrise, after we've seen some of the heavier rain. We likely encounter some ponding of water on roadways, not from the king tides. This could happen anywhere there's poor drainage on a roadway. And then we get a nice little break after that. So it's good. We could use it. We got 2 first alert days coming our way for Sunday and Monday. We'll keep you updated with this as we go through it. For now, guys, back to you.
And welcome back. Well, the other top story of the day, of course, was this: king tides. While it was a headache for some others in San Francisco, they had a little bit of fun with it. The Exploratorium held a watch party earlier to talk about Newton's laws and the tides, and how it might be a preview of the sea levels of the future. People stood behind barricades to watch the waves wash ashore, and they listened to lectures from climate scientists. Driven by wind, the highest tides today were around 8.4 feet, a little bit above forecast, but nowhere near records for the day. Still, it could be a preview of life decades from now.
This is a glimpse into the future, because today's king tides, or royal tides as we like to say because it's more inclusive, these tides are going to be the normal high tides of the future because of sea level rise.
It's royal tides now. I hadn't gotten that memo. Yes. That's well, you can see the flooding that it does. But it always does this along the Embarcadero. The rain didn't help, the wind didn't help, and we're going to get more tomorrow too. There's more tides coming along tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
It was a mess out there today.
Oh my, you were stuck in it too. That's it for us at 5. CBS Weekend News is next.
And we will see you back here for another hour of local news coming up at 6 o'clock. All right,
Thanks.
Frank.